My Mila was an enviable bride. Some of my friends were even jealous that she chose me. And even at the wedding, someone joked about how smart she was. They joked that she was smart, beautiful, and funny. I wasn't interested in her, especially since she was younger, but she often entertained me in the evenings, for which I loved her. I loved her because she knew how to listen to me. I serve in the army, and I often have different stressful situations. And she would sit across from me in the kitchen and look into my eyes so deeply. And she said, "Tell me about it." And I told her, and she listened to me. Sometimes she would give me advice, and somehow there was always a solution. After the wedding, she decided to become a psychologist. She asked to join my service, and I had a vacant position as a psychologist at work. I'll just work a little more and find a more interesting job. I tried to keep an eye on her so she wouldn't get hurt. And then there was an incident at our office. The boss was rushing around the office. I didn't know how to get out of the situation. I called Mila to my office. I was afraid for her. I waited until she left the office and asked, "What did he yell at you for?" She used to treat me so calmly. "No, he's not bad at all. It was weird, but okay." I thought psychologists had their own cockroaches in their heads. Since then, Mela often came to the chief's office. He called her himself when he was nervous, and through the duty station he called her on the phone and looked for her. So everyone knew that she went to see him. They began to whisper that she got under the boss's skin, and then she went to him. She ran out screaming, started a showdown in the staff room, packed up and went to him. I was sitting in his office talking to him, and the boss came out to us a completely different person. He smiled, answered questions, asked what difficulties we were having, and how to help someone take an early vacation, someone take time off. I warned her that it would not end well, Mila. They will either bring you under the monastery, or they will say, "You should not be so close friends with him." I have a purely therapeutic relationship with Henry, and he would also make me a park jockey. That's what my wife told me. I must say that they worked as a psychologist in a small office together with a personnel officer after the boss. And she took special control of the fact that people were attracted to her. Many began to come with their problems, and not only to tell the boss about them. Someone came with family issues. And Mela wasn't going anywhere anymore. She quite liked life according to the rules, only she needed a separate office. The boss moved some of the staff and freed up a separate office for Mela, and my Mela disappeared. I, the boss, began to visit her for conversations. At that moment, many people were hired. She also worked with them. The boss brought his friends often, as I do not go to her, so one of the men is sitting with her, then a candidate for service, then the boss himself. And then one day the attendant comes up to me and says, "You should have looked after yours from the station and the boss. Yesterday I went to them myself, and they were fixing their clothes." To be honest, I didn't believe it then, but to calm down, I went to my wife's office, and they were hugging. I rushed out of the office and left for 3 days. When I came home on shaky legs, Mela told me, "He is a kind, caring person, always helps me, and you only complained to me and did not ask about my worries." I didn't argue. I just got divorced and transferred to another unit away from them. On our good hunting trip, I found out how she was doing. At first, I was told that everything was the same as before, and that the head of the currency department had given her an officer's rank ahead of schedule. Then they began to say that there was some kind of discord in them, but they did not tell me what it was. So I slowly began to forget her. The officer on duty opened my eyes when he told me that your Olivia had left the psychology department and left the unit. Either she leaves in a good way, and he stays, or she will not see the service as her ears if he is kicked out because of her. In general, no one took pity on her. Apparently, she suffered herself and left. You know, I still think about her a lot, but I can't forgive her. She wrote to me once, asked me to meet, but I did not respond, and since then I have not even come close to psychologists. I'm allergic to them.